Hello, and welcome to the Foundation for Sarcoidosis Research's webinar, Energy Conservation, Rationing Your Physical Energy. I'm Kate Anastasia, Director of Global Patient Programs, and I'll be the moderator for today. Before we start, I'd like to go over some housekeeping. So this is a webinar, and we will not be able to hear the audience members. So this means that if you use the raise hand function, we're not going to be able to respond directly. I'm going to encourage you to please submit your questions directly into the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. If you have any technical difficulties, please chat Kristen Vargas directly, and she'll do what she can to help. This session is being recorded, and the link will be shared in a follow-up email to everyone who registered for the webinar. It will also be made available in FSR's video library later this month. So on behalf of FSR, it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar. As many of you know, fatigue is one of the most common and challenging symptoms of sarcoidosis. It affects daily life in ways that others just can't always see, making it so important that we talk openly about how to manage it and finding strategies that can truly make a difference. Today's session is designed for people living with sarcoidosis and for their caregivers. We know that fatigue doesn't just affect the individual, it can impact the entire family or support system. November is National Family Caregivers Month, and in recognition, we want to take a moment to honor all of our caregivers. Your support, patience, and compassion make an incredible difference, and we're so grateful for everything that you do. And to our entire community, please know that the FSR team is here to support you, to connect you with others in the community, to help you learn more about living with sarcoidosis, to bring opportunities for you to become engaged in our efforts, to provide education about sarcoidosis, advocate, and to advance sarcoidosis research. The information presented in today's program is intended for educational purposes only. It should not be considered medical advice. We always encourage individuals to speak with their own healthcare providers about any questions or decisions related to their care. I would like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors, Walgreens, Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals, ANI Pharmaceuticals, Attire, and the Philly Foundation. And now it is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. Tresel Davis is a sarcoidosis warrior who was diagnosed with sarcoidosis in 2005. She is married with 3 adult children and recently became a grandmother to Tristan. And if you want to see her smile, just mention his name. Tresel has a bachelor's degree in social work, a master's degree in occupational therapy, and a master's degree in theology. She has worked in adult rehabilitation, adult and pediatric home care, adult and pediatric outpatient public and private schools, early childhood intervention, and academia. She's also a lay minister chaplain. She co-facilitates a sarcoidosis community group as part of the FSR Global Sarcoidosis Clinic Alliance in partnership with UT Health Houston. She has been a co-facilitator for FSR since 2023, so please join me in welcoming Tresel Davis.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Tresel Davis, and I am happy to be presenting to you on energy conservation, rationing your physical energy. Next slide. We all know that it's good to remain as active as possible. We know that being active gives us strength. It helps your immune system. And when we're active, our body secretes what we call endorphins, which helps with stress and helps with your immune system. However, you want to make sure that you can perform all of your daily activities. Now, when you have a chronic illness like sarcoidosis, you can fatigue easily, and one activity may wipe you out. You can ration your physical activities by modifying and adapting activities so that you're not using so much of your physical energy. To do this, I have coined what I call the 3 Ps. They're prioritize, plan, and pace yourself. Next slide. Prioritize. The first thing that you should do is make a weekly or daily schedule of the activities you need to do. Then look at those activities and prioritize those activities. You know, you may prioritize by saying what activities can you adapt. For example, you can pick up your groceries or have your groceries delivered, and you may, just depending on your appointment and your health status, you may can schedule a Zoom doctor's appointment if you have to drive far to the doctor. And also, you know, I know you make your weekly schedule of activities that you need to do, but look closely at those activities and look at each one and say, is this a need or is this a want? Now, a need is something that you have to do immediately. Say if your pantry is empty, you need to go to the grocery store and get food. You know, if you're not feeling well, you need to go to the doctor, or even, you know, if you're trying to do a follow-up appointment with your doctor, that's important. So you need to do that. Some things like maybe you have on your list to go to the mall. Maybe there's a gala or something in a couple of weeks, and you can ask yourself, okay, I do need a new dress, but can that wait? Can I schedule that for a different day? So let's take time to prioritize what's a need and what's a want. Next slide. You know, always prioritize you. Always schedule some rest time in your day, even when you go on vacation. I know when we're on vacation, you know, we want to do all and see all, but schedule some rest time. Sit down with your family or friends, whoever you're going on vacation with, and do an itinerary and schedule some rest time within that itinerary that you're doing. And remember, rest means doing nothing at all or doing something that brings you peace and joy. It's also, rest includes our mental capacity. Now, sometimes if you're mentally stressed, that can kind of drain you physically as well. So when you're resting, do something that brings you peace, joy, that does not tire you out. And also make sure that you're getting a good night's sleep. And if you're having trouble sleeping, talk with your doctor. Some activities that can give you peace and joy during rest is meditating, praying, journaling, coloring in adult coloring books, and listening to relaxing music. Also, taking a leisurely walk in nature. But make sure that if you're taking a walk, you're not exhausting yourself. Because walking can also be a form of exercise. So just make sure that it's not exhausting. And also be positive and grateful. Like I said before, you know, when we're taking care of ourselves mentally, that helps us physically as well. Sometimes stress and mental worry can also drain us physically as well. For me, I like to take nature walks and spend time with God and read scripture. So that helps me with resting and, well, both physically and mentally. Next slide. Well, this is just an example of a dog coloring book that I use. That's something else I do during my rest break. I'll color because it just gives me joy to see the finished product. And so I love doing that. Next slide. And something else that I do, I have a gratitude journal. This gratitude journal, it has different little slots where I can write 3 things that I'm grateful for, 3 things that would make today great, And sometimes I have more than three, so I'll write more than three. And also a positive affirmation to help me get through the day. And this journal also, um, it also has where you can go back in the evening or the night before, and you can write things, good things that happened to you that day. You can also write what you learned. Maybe something happened that wasn't so good, but it was a learning experience for you. And just writing in this journal also helps me, gives me peace and gives me joy, and helps me to rest, and and to rest my mind as well. And that helps me uh, physically as well, to not be so drained. Next slide. Planning. When planning your daily activities, after you decide, what you need to do, and even decide what's a need, what's a want, you want to take those activities for that week or that day, and you want to balance those activities throughout the day. Balance the activities that require a lot of physical energy with activities that do not require a lot of physical energy. For example, if you have go to the doctor and you have a long drive, well, that can be kind of tiring. So if you know you have a doctor's appointment that day, maybe you don't want to schedule so many activities. You may actually schedule a rest period when you come back from the doctor. And that can include doing some of the activities we mentioned before, meditating, journaling, and then do something else that may require more physical energy. So just kind of balance those activities out. And also, like I said, don't forget to plan your rest break, and and just fit it in at a good time. Like I said, if you're driving 20 miles one way to the doctor and you get home, that's a good time for you to plan a rest break. And also, if you say you have 10 items on your schedule in a day, it's okay sometimes to say, hey, I'm too tired to get to some of these things, and to reschedule them for a different time. But when you do that, look at the things that you can reschedule. As I said before, you can reschedule going to the mall to get that dress for the banquet. So look at what you can reschedule, and do that. Know that it's okay. The next slide. And one thing that we have to do daily is what we call our activities of daily living. And the first one is getting dressed. So organize your closet, or you can have family and friends do this for you. You can even have a little get together where your friends help you organize your closet. And you can color code it. You can put your dresses in one area, your pants, your shirts, and also lay out the clothes that you plan to wear the night before. That way, you can save on time. Next slide. Okay, tips for dressing. When you're getting dressed, it's good to sit in a sturdy chair or a firm bed with both feet on the floor. Also, gather everything that you'll need to get dressed, so you're not having to, walk back and forth. Get all of your clothes out, your shoes, your socks, your pantyhose, underwear, everything that you're gonna wear. Gather that. And also, you can purchase shoes that won't tire you out when you have to, say, go to the doctor and walk long distances. You can purchase shoes that you can just slip in. And if you have to purchase shoes that do tie, you can get elastic laces. Also, for safety reasons, you want to avoid flip flops or shoes that don't have a heel support, such as mules. And you can also use adaptive equipment to help you. Uh, one of my favorites is a long handle shoe horn, where it keeps you from having to bend to put on your shoes. And also, you can purchase clothing that are easy to take off, easy to put on. I personally like try to stay away from clothes that have zippers in the back or buttons in the back. And you want clothes that just are easy to clean as well. I try to stay away from clothes that have to be dry cleaned or have to be ironed. Try to just purchase wash and wear clothes. So you can read the labels when you're buying clothes. I do that all the time. I'll read the label when I'm buying clothes. And every now and then, I know you may see something that you just say, I love this. I know it says dry clean on it, but I'm gonna have to get it. That's okay. Just don't have a lot of your clothes where you have to have dry clean. Next slide. Okay, the next thing is our hygiene. And you would do the same for hygiene as you would dressing. Sit in a sturdy chair, one without wheels. Now with both feet flat on the floor. And when you have to do your makeup, your face washing, your toothbrushing, and also try and get a low maintenance hairstyle. One where you don't have to do too much to it. And also you can invest in um, adaptive equipment for the bathroom. A handheld shower is one of my favorites. You don't have to really bend with the handheld shower. You can just use it and put it, all over your body without you kind of bending down and all that. So that helps with conserving energy. Also, if you have a problem with sitting in the tub or you can't stand for a long time, you can invest in a shower chair or a shower bench. But my recommendation for that is to talk to your doctor about those things, because I know with the shower bench, you need to make sure that the legs are high enough for you, because you want your feet to touch the floor. And also your doctor can write a prescription in case your insurance, I know some insurance pay for bathroom equipment and some don't. So it's just an individual thing. And you can even ask your doctor for a home evaluation by an occupational therapist or a physical therapist. And that way, when they come out, they can recommend things for you. A lot of times the therapist has recommended it. It's easier sometimes to get the insurance to pay for it. But it just depends. I know some insurance look at it as luxury and don't pay for it. So that's an individual thing for you to investigate if your insurance will pay for it. And you can also maybe check with your church to get those devices. You can also get them from a resale store. But again, if you get them from a resale store, even from your church, you always want to have a professional come and check them out and make sure that they're going to hold you, that they're sturdy, that they're the right height for you. And talk to your doctor about it, and maybe they can give you just a one-time consult for therapists to come out. Like I said, again, a home safety evaluation. And if you already purchased equipment, say from the church, if the church gave it to you, they'll come out and look at that and make sure that it's set for you. The height and everything is set for you for safety. And also, you can install handrails in your shower, in your bathtub. They even have some rails that can go around your toilet. Also, you can get a raised toilet seat. Sometimes people have hip surgery or hip pain. A raised toilet seat is very helpful where you're not sitting so low. And you always want to make sure that you use a handrail that's a professional handrail that's installed in your tub or in your shower, and the professional rails around your toilet. You never want to hold on to a soap rack or a towel rack or a shelf that's next to your toilet, because you know what, those things can give out and break. The shower, the toilet, the towel rack can come out of the wall, so can the soap holder. And even if you have a shelf that you think is straight, but it can move, So you just want to make sure that you have um, your handrails, because you don't want those things to break and you fall and you injure yourself if they give out. And so you can also have a home health person come out, like an occupational therapist or physical therapist. Get your doctor to write a home safety evaluation. They can come out and recommend things. A lot of times, if you have a recommendation from a therapist, you are, I don't know what insurance is paid for, but sometimes it's you have a better chance if you have a recommendation from a professional. So that's always say, go to your doctor and have them the right things for you. Next slide. Meal preparation and cooking. Now, when you're planning your day or your week, plan your meals. When you go grocery shopping, plan your meals and write your ingredients. And also you can do delivery, or you could do pickup. And also, if you do like to go in the grocery store, I know I like to personally pick out my own meats. You can use a scooter that's provided by the grocery store, or you can sometimes just push in a basket is enough, to hold on to keep you started. So it just depends on your condition and your needs. I know the basket is good for me to hold on to, because the scooter, to me, I have to get up and down, to reach stuff. So sometimes to me that seems like it's more taxing physically on me to have to get out of the scooter and get the items that are on the top shelf, whereas I'm pushing a basket that keeps me sturdy, gives me support, and also I can reach the items. So it's just an individual thing, whatever works best for you. Also, you can purchase pre-cut vegetables. You can use a food processor, or you can cut vegetables and cut enough vegetables where you can freeze. Also, you can share your cooking duties. My husband usually cuts the vegetables and I cook and he'll do the cleaning up. So that's how we manage cooking, at my house. And also you can use a slow cooker, a crock pot. You can use an air fryer. You don't want to do too many things where you have to stand and stir, or things where you have to stand and you're frying things. That can be physically tiring. Also, you can use paper towels, paper plates, plastic utensils, plastic wrap, aluminum foil. That helps with cleanup. But I know also these things can be costly. So if you have someone, like I have my husband that does the cleanup, so if you have someone that can help you with cleanup, then you may not have to buy these things, because having to buy them over and over can cost, versus just having your dishes that you can have for years. So you may want to look at that. Like I said, everybody's lifestyle is individualized. So is that something that you feel that will help you if you live alone, or you don't have the help, and to cut back on having to wash? It may be a good idea, but again, consider the cost and your budget, your individual budget. Also, you can use a wheeled cart or tray to transfer items that are heavy, or if you want to, if you're transferring several items to the kitchen, you can put them on the tray and push them that way. That way you don't have to make several trips in carrying things, and you don't have to carry heavy things. Also, store things that you use frequently in a place where you don't have to reach up so high or bend down so low to get them. your spices. You can, they have spice racks and different little containers you can put your spices in and keep them out on your counter so you're not having to reach up in the cabinet to get them. And another thing that you can get if you do have to reach some things, it's a device called a reacher, and you can use that to reach things that are high up. But I just recommend, your plates that you use, pots that you use frequently, just have them where you're not having to reach up so high or to bend down so low. And if you have to stand, say you have to stand and wash dishes, wash some pots that are not made for the dishwasher, it's good to put like a little um, stool under one of your legs and kind of put one leg on the stool, and you can alternate legs, and that kind of helps you as well with just balancing your energy. But again, we can talk with your doctor about these things. Next slide. Pace yourself. Oh, again, rest before you become exhausted, even when you're on vacation. Like I said, make your itinerary, share that itinerary with the people you're going with so you all are on the same page. Do not overexert yourself, especially when you're on vacation. And it's okay to say no. With anything, if you're feeling tired, it's okay to say no. And you can break activities down into smaller tasks when possible. One activity that you can break down is like cooking. I like to make gumbo. So I'll cut my sausages up one day. I like to make seafood gumbo. I'll clean my shrimp one day. And I'll also delegate my husband to do some of these things. That way, because gumbo does require you to stand up and stir. So that way, when I am making a gumbo, I'm not trying to do everything in one day. I'll pre-cut the vegetables. So when I am cooking it, I've done everything. I don't have to do all everything in that day. I've done it days before. And even if I have to, I'm stirring the gumbo and I have to get my husband to stir the gumbo a while. So you can always delegate and set realistic goals. If you know, for example, that hey, I don't have the energy to cook a big Thanksgiving meal or a big Christmas meal, delegate, talk to your family. You can even have people to bring a dish. You can order, if that's something you like to do. You can order from a store. You can order a meal. So just set realistic goals for yourself, and don't make a schedule where you have 10 things to do and half of those things are going to tire you out, and so that may not be realistic. Make sure when you do your schedule that you have a realistic schedule that you can do. The next slide. Oh, we need to go back to the one before that. Okay, no, there's another one after that. Seek help. Okay, seek help. Be honest with your doctors, your counselors, your family, your friends about how you really feel. No, you don't have to try to be Superwoman, Superman. Just let them know how you feel. And as I said before, you can always ask your doctor for a home safety evaluation to see if you need any adaptive bathing equipment or dressing equipment. There's other dressing equipment like a sock aid to help you put your socks on. So if you get a evaluation from an occupational therapist or physical therapist, they can let you know what equipment will help you. Also, you can even ask your doctor if you can have an aid. So I know some insurance companies will pay for an aid, but the doctors sometimes have to say that it's medically necessary. So you can just talk to your doctor about that and be honest. If you're getting tired, let them know. And you can also hire help for housekeeping. Or again, it goes to delegate. So if you have family that don't even live with you, you can maybe ask a niece or a nephew or someone to come over and help you with the housekeeping. And I said would be a personal thing, as if you're gonna, if they want you to pay them, or they're gonna just do it out of the goodness of their heart. So you'd have to kind of work that out. Also, you can utilize Meals on Wheels. They'll bring you a meal. You can also go to your senior citizen center that provides hot meals for seniors, and sometimes they'll even provide transportation to the center. And I've done this sometimes. Reserve a wheelchair when you go to the airport. That way, you don't have to walk around the airport carrying your carry-on luggage and all that. So that can be tiring. Also, when you go on vacation, you can rent a scooter when you get to your destination. So my family went to Disney World, and I rented a scooter, and it was the best thing I ever did. I was I was independent. I didn't my family didn't have to wait on me. I was able to keep up. And even when I got on the rides, the workers took it to the other side, and they met me when I got to the other side. So it was just, I was able to really enjoy my vacation with the scooter. So just those are some things that you can do to, to help yourself. And, don't try to do, like I said, everything alone and be a Superman or Superwoman. Also, you can reach out to FSR for information about support groups and attending informational sessions like this one. Next slide. Energy conservation for caregivers. As caregivers can get tired as well. And also, caregivers should follow the 3 Ps: prioritize, plan, and pace yourself. Caregivers should also prioritize their daily tasks. They should plan how they're going to accomplish them. They can pace themselves. They can avoid trying to do everything at once, because caregiving can be physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotional draining. Caregivers should ensure that they have a support system or support group. Again, FSR is a good group. It's a support group for the patient as well as the caregiver. And a caregiver should also engage in activities that fulfill them spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And they should also make sure that they're getting a good night's sleep. And again, the same goes for the caregiver. They're not sleeping well, they should talk to their doctors. And a caregiver can also seek help without feeling guilty. Because remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. As they say on the airplane, put the oxygen on you before you can help someone else. So it's the same thing with the caregiver. Make sure that you're taking care of you and that you're seeking help when you need it. There is respite care, that you can use, that the caregiver can use. Next slide. Also, as a caregiver, keep your doctor's appointments. Discuss your feelings with your doctor. Now, if you are a caregiver taking care of a loved one, you may be grieving the person that your loved one once was. Also, obtain appropriate training. If you have to do transfer for the individual you're caring for, um, talk to your patient's doctor or the patient's therapist. The doctor can get you a therapist to come out and show you how to do transfers so you can safely transfer the patient as well as yourself. You can get a therapist, even a nurse, to help you. You can again ask for a home safety evaluation. And during that time, they will suggest adaptive equipment for the patient if needed. And then make sure that you take time to rest and engage in calming activities as well. And allow your loved one to do as much as they can safely do for themselves. For example, if they can cut the vegetables, you can set them at a table, have them cut the vegetables or prepare the casserole if they're able to do so. And then you can place the casserole in the dish. I mean, in the oven, because it helps them to feel useful but when you allow them to help, and it just helps them to also feel better about themselves when they're able to help. So don't, even if it takes them a while to do stuff, say getting dressed, you want them to help themselves as much as they can. And sometimes you may have to start a little early if it takes them a little longer to get dressed, and allow them to do that for themselves. The next slide. Okay, we've come to the end of the presentation. And again, no information in this presentation is meant to replace the advice of your doctor or health professional. This is for informational purposes.
Riesel, that was wonderful. That was so amazing. Such great suggestions and strategies, and you brought tools into it as well. I feel like you gave suggestions not even about just activities of daily living, but that can be used in each room of the house. And I also love that you are giving us all, I guess, permission to say no to things. I think some of the best advice I was ever given is that no is a complete sentence. So I just love that you did all of that. So we do have some questions, if you're okay taking questions.
Yes.
And I want to again encourage folks to please put any additional questions into the Q&A. Kristen is there helping us monitor that. So the first question is actually about you, and they want to know what has helped you the most with fatigue.
What has helped me the most with fatigue is pacing myself and actually saying no. I am a go-getter, um, and I like to get involved, but I do have to say no, and I do have to pace myself and prioritize the activities that I need to do versus activities that I want to do. And so, and what activities that are important to me as well, like being a sarcoidosis facilitator, co-facilitator is very important to me, and it helps me. And even being involved in some ministries at my church, like the prayer ministry, is very important to me because I just believe wholeheartedly in prayer, uh, and that God answers prayer. So and prayer has really helped me as well. And journaling has helped me as well to not feel guilty about saying no. So those are some of the
I
things
love that.
that helps me.
That's great. Thank you. The next question is they wanted to ask if you could provide just any ideas or suggestions about getting a better night's sleep, right? Like that's so tough for all of us. So any suggestions about how we could try to get better sleep, get to sleep earlier?
Well, I mean, I don't know because I personally have sleep apnea. So when I was having problems sleeping, I had a sleep study, and I've had sleep apnea for years, and I use a CPAP machine. So I don't. It's just an individual thing. I know I've heard that they say, oh, cut back on the screen time on your phone 2 hours before going to bed and things like that. But that's an individual case on getting better sleep. But I know once I found out I did a sleep study and found I had sleep apnea and started using my CPAP machine, that helped me. So it's just an individual thing. You have to talk to your doctor about that and see what will help. But another thing that also helps me is praying before I go to bed. That helps me as well. So
And you're 100% right with staying off the screen time. It definitely impacts sleep as you're getting closer to when you need to go to bed. Absolutely. Before we go to the next question, though, I just wanted to mention that there are a ton of comments and questions just thanking you, Tresel, for your presentation. And one person actually said that it was affirming, and I just wanted to share that with you.
thank
Um,
you.
the next question is just if you could just discuss best ways to protect your energy with stress of the holidays, especially with family members who maybe don't understand the limitations that sometimes come along with a disease like sarcoidosis.
I will say just be honest with them. And I kind of learned it the hard way because, like, again, I love to cook. I love to see people eat my food, and I love family, and I love the holidays. And when I should have said, this is too much, maybe we can order food or something, I tried to do it all myself. And I personally learned that it's okay, say no. You have to speak up because people can't read your mind. They don't know how you really feel. So I'll just sit down and say, if we're gonna do dinner at my house, and I need you guys to bring this or come early and help prepare this. So it was just a learning experience for me because I'm a go-getter, and I kind of like to do everything myself and on my own. But it's just around the holidays, I had to end up saying I need help, and that's not always easy to ask for, especially if you're used to doing everything. So just let them know you need help. Can you bring sweet potatoes? Can you bring a pie? Or come early and help do something. So, well, it's just again asking for help without feeling guilty. And if you have small kids, I know that can be hard if you have small children, and so you have to. I would say just plan in advance. If cook, like, cut vegetables in advance. Like with my gumbo, I have to cut my sausage in advance, clean the shrimp in advance, so I'm not taxed with doing everything that day. So it can be a learning process, and it's an individualized thing, but listen to your body and let your loved ones know. Because sometimes, they really want to help, but we haven't told them that we need help. Well, we still want to do it all. I know I've been there. I've been there where I want to do it all. And even if they don't do it like you do it, it's okay. Because I had to learn that with my husband. I had to let him start doing stuff, even though, my dad was from Louisiana, he's from Tennessee, so we cook different. I like highly seasoned, spicy foods. So, you have to just kind of say, okay, let me just season the food for you and you can cook it. But so just, you're going to have to find ways to adapt and not feel guilty about it. And sometimes if the food isn't seasoned just like I would do it, I had to learn to be okay with that. As long as it's edible and good. It's not. So I had to teach him how to, how to do it. Even though he's been eating my cooking, we've been married over 30, almost 33 years. But I know we cook different. So just I had to kind of show him. So ask for help. A lot of people help you, and if they don't do something like you're gonna do it, compromise and uh, tell them what you want. So just ask for help. That's all I can say.
That's great. And I feel like you answered the next question where someone had asked about dealing with the guilt of not being able to do everything. And you just kind of shared that you can't feel guilty about it. Or else you're not going to enjoy the holiday at all, and delegate and compromise. I also want to share that when you mentioned that, finding ways to sleep is kind of it's an individual experience for folks. People are now sharing ways that help them sleep, taking a hot bath, melatonin, but of course, talking to your doctor first. Some herbal teas can help with that too. So I love that people are now starting to share things that have worked for them as well.
Well, that's great. And I just want to say something um, as well. I had oxygen for 4 years, and that was really a hard time for me because it was things that like cooking. You can't have oxygen in the kitchen around the heat and all that, and so I learned to fix my meals at the table, let my husband stick them in the oven. And if I could take the oxygen off for a little while and stir the gumbo, then I let him stir the gumbo. So it was it just really took some adapting and not feeling guilty about it because you can only do what you can do. And so my husband, I can say as a caregiver, he's been a great help for me, even with vacuuming and things that I couldn't do. He's really been a great help. So
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, tell Mr. Treasel that we thank him as well. Um, okay. Well, I think we've
somebody
come
put,
to the end. Or
oh, I was
anything
gonna
else you
somebody put
wanted to share?
chai tea. Somebody put chai tea and music therapy
Yes.
for, I
Oh,
guess,
yeah,
for
music.
relaxation.
Perfect. Yes. Well, thank you, Treasel. That was absolutely amazing. We will be sending out a follow-up email. As this ends, you're going to see a survey pop up. We would really appreciate it if you would complete the survey. If you miss it, it will also be sent out in the follow-up email that has the link to the recording. And I just want you to know we really take your feedback seriously. We want you to suggest future topics. This presentation was because of some suggestions from our patient community. So thank you so much, Treasel. You do so much for the sarcoidosis community already. So taking your expertise and being able to offer this webinar has just been really important to us. So thank you very much. And
Okay.
thank you again to all of our caregivers.
Okay. Thank you for having me, and thanks to everyone that participated and everyone that shared. Thank you very much.